Well, folks, the group that helped take down Madison Cawthorn in the state of North Carolina, effectively turning him into a lame duck congressman for the rest of this year, a group called American Muckrakers Political Action Committee. Well, they came out the end of this week and they said, you know what? We've got a new target coming up next, and it's going to be Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert. And in fact, David Wheeler, who's the co-founder of this group, said this: I think we're going to engage in that race pretty quickly. He said he's received, quote, interesting information about the Republican firebrand whose primary against GOP State Senator Don Quorum is on June 28th. The information is, quote, certainly not as salacious as some of the Callthorne stuff. It deals instead with financial matters, he said, declining to disclose more details. And isn't this one of the things we have been talking about here forever? The finances, right? Because we know at one point the campaign was paying a dude that was based on his home address living in Shooter's Bar and Grill, but paying him through the campaign. And he was then paying rent to them through all of that. The weird shell companies that they were using, Lauren Boebert and her husband, to pay for things through this, through here, to go back over this way. Totally weird stuff. Not even alleging, by the way, that it's illegal. I'm just saying it's weird. So if American Muckrakers, if this group that has plenty of Republicans on its advisory board, they're the ones who, by the way, leaked that nude video of Madison Cawthorn. And if they're able to get their hands on that kind of stuff, just imagine what kind of financial info they have on Lauren Boebert. And like they said, they're going to engage pretty quickly. I mean, after all, they've only got about, 5 weeks or so until that primary, which is about how much time they spent taking down Madison Cawthorn, and by God, it worked. Again, for a Republican group, they seem to do some pretty quick work, and it's pretty effective. A lot more than the Lincoln Project ever could have hoped to be. And for the record, David Wheeler, the co-founder of it, is in fact a Democrat. But most of the advisory folks are in fact Republicans on this group. That's why I call it a Republican group. But there's a lot to go after Lauren Boebert for. I mean, heck, just the things I talked about with the finances, the weird, shady stuff, right? The billing of the mileage that would have been enough mileage to drive 1.5 times around the circumference of the earth during her campaign. She got reimbursed $22,000. So if you do the math, that's the mileage 1.5 times around the earth. Don't actually think she drove that far, but whatever. There's other investigations actually ongoing into some campaign finance discrepancies that Boebert has, so maybe that's what they've got information on. But let's not also completely discount the past, right? The husband in the bowling alley exposing himself to underage girls, and, the domestic disputes that resulted in violence. The police had to be called between Lauren and her then boyfriend, now husband, after the bowling alley incident. There's a lot in this woman's history to go after here, all of which, by the way, is fair game. You've got some creepy stuff that has happened, personal, financial, and I think it's time that the voters of Colorado start actually paying attention to these kinds of things, and that is exactly what this American Muckrakers pack is hoping to do within the next 5 weeks. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.